What's going on YouTube? Running Gun Sports back here with another video. Today is our college football week 2 preview. We got not that interesting of a college football week. We got really two big games. That's really about it. So if you've not subscribed, please do so. Leave a like down below. Share this with your friends. Follow our social media pages at runningun_sports on Instagram and at runninggunsports on TikTok. With that being said, let's get right into the video with the first game of the week, Nebraska and Oklahoma. Oklahoma currently favored by 22.5 points at home in this game. Might be a decently close game just based off of how Oklahoma has been playing these past couple of weeks, but I think that they will come away with the victory in the end. Texas A&M and New Mexico, both teams are 2-0, and Texas A&M had a decent week 1 victory versus Kent State and struggled big time last week versus Colorado. And it's going to be a hot game. It's supposed to be 91 degrees at kickoff time. And I think that this is really going to be a big game for Texas A&M to regain a lot of hope and faith in their team that they did not have after performing so poorly last week. Cincinnati versus Indiana, and this is going to be a lot closer of a game than I think you may think, as seeing number 8 team in the country versus a unranked team. Michael Penix Jr. has not played very well, but I think if he can have a good showing this week in front of his home crowd, then they could really pull off a nice upset. And I think that Michael Penix Jr., if he plays the way he did play versus Ohio State last year, I think that they've got a legit shot to win this game. And I think that Indiana is going to pull off the upset this week. It's going to be a big deal and definitely will derail their playoff hopes. Virginia Tech versus West Virginia. Virginia Tech, a nice 2-0 start to the season and beating North Carolina in week 1. Big upset there. And they look to continue their win streak versus West Virginia, who beat Long Island University last week 60-0 and lost to Maryland the week before 30-24. And moving on to the next game of this week, Coastal Carolina versus Buffalo. Buffalo has had some good teams in the past. I think they keep it close in the first half, but Coastal Carolina ultimately will come away with this win. Michigan State versus Miami. Miami, not the greatest start to the season. Should be 0-2 really, and fortunate to be 1-1 right now after almost losing to App State last week. But this is a big week in game for them to beat an undefeated team and regain back some of their confidence in this game. So look to see that happening. I got Miami winning this game. Northern Illinois versus Michigan. This should be a fairly easy win for Michigan. Purdue versus Notre Dame. This is going to be a really close game. Notre Dame has not played very well this last couple weeks. I think Purdue goes into South Bend and pulls off the upset. It's going to be a big deal, and they've had some tough games that they should have won by a lot that they didn't win by a lot. Lost to Florida State in overtime and won versus Toledo 32-29. So winning 2 games by a total of 6 points to unranked teams. One of those games at home versus Toledo is a very bad look for them. Alabama versus Florida. This is gonna be one of the best games of the weekend, and the Gators coming in 2-0, and Alabama obviously coming in 2-0 after 2 dominant wins. Florida is coming in off of a 42-20 win versus USF and a 35-14 versus FAU. And I think that their defense is just not good enough. They're going to struggle versus this Alabama team. Alabama could easily drop 55 points on this defense, and their offense is definitely going to win them this game, and their defense is going to play well. Alabama, I think, wins this game by about 12 points. Kent State versus Iowa. Iowa's been red hot lately. Number 5 in the country. I can't tell you the last time that's happened. So Iowa with an easy win. Georgia Tech versus Clemson. Georgia Tech is 1-1 on the season. Clemson 1-1 on the season. This game could be decently close, and I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia Tech gave up a good fight in the first half, but definitely Clemson's going to come away with the win on this one. Tulsa versus Ohio State. Tulsa 0-2, Ohio State 1-1. This should be a good win for Ohio State, a bounce back victory after the loss to Oregon this past weekend. Georgia Southern versus Arkansas. Arkansas, 20th ranked team in the country, after a big win last week versus the University of Texas, look to keep the momentum going with an easy matchup this week versus Georgia Southern. South Carolina versus Georgia. Georgia, the number 2 team in the country, one of the best defenses in college football, if not the best defenses, an undefeated 2-0 team, and I think that this could be a close game, but Georgia's gonna come away with it. It won't be that close of a game, but I think that they could keep it close in the first half. Oregon playing Stony Brook, no doubt in my mind who's winning this game. They should win by a lot more than they won versus Fresno State. Auburn versus Penn State. This is really the biggest game of the weekend, and playing at night in Happy Valley. Auburn has played 2 bad teams, Alabama State and Akron, and they've played well versus them, but they have not played a team like Penn State yet, and that's why Auburn is at 2-0, sitting at 22 in the AP Top 25. This is going to be a crazy game. There's going to be packed. It's going to be an absolutely electric atmosphere for this game. It's going to be packed, and it's going to be rocking the white out in Happy Valley, and I just think that in itself is enough for Penn State to win this game. There's no way Auburn stands a chance in the whiteout. Virginia versus North Carolina. Virginia 2-0, and they may give North Carolina some troubles this game, but I think that they should be able to bounce back. Sam Howell has not been the Heisman favorite that we saw him to be at the beginning of the season, but I think this game he will have a good showing. Tulane versus Ole Miss. Tulane gave Oklahoma a tough fight, but I think Ole Miss is better than Oklahoma ultimately. Arizona State versus BYU. This is another good game for the week. BYU 2-0, Arizona State 2-0, and this can be a really, really close game. But I think Jaden Daniels is just such a clutch player, clutch performer. He's going to come away and find a way to give him this victory. Iowa State versus UNLV. UNLV coming off of a loss last week, and they're currently 0-2, and they lost to an FCS team, Eastern Washington, so they've just not had the best season. It should be a fairly easy win for Iowa State. Fresno State versus UCLA, interstate matchup that Fresno State has played very well. I think that they're going to give UCLA a tough fight, just like they gave Oregon, and it's going to be a close game, but I just think the offense is going to be too much for the Fresno State defense. So that will wrap it up for today's video. If you guys have not already, please leave a like down below, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Thank you guys so much for watching.